Why, hello. I didn't see you there. Thanks so much for stopping by. Since y'all are here, we may as well go ahead and get started with the first ever episode of Bluebeard the Bard's Rap Theory. Now, you've heard of music theory before, of course, chords, harmonies, modes, whatever, rhythm. We're going to be taking some of that over to rap theory, most importantly, the rhythm aspect of it. But for us, rap theory is going to have four main pillars, those being writing, recording, performing, and then the last one's going to be marketing/promotion. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this series. Today we're going to be focusing on the writing performing sphere, and we're going to be talking about something that I was discussing in Discord with some of my friends recently, and that is getting some variation in your cadences. For some people who are starting out, their cadences are very basic. They write in a style that some would derisively refer to as a Dr. Seuss kind of a style. Another way to refer to it would be more of a Shakespearean kind of a style. Shakespeare wrote with an iambic pentameter, that is 10-syllable lines, each with 5 unstressed and stressed pairs. That's iambic pentameter, and that's what we're going to be using as our lyrical example today. Is Shakespeare's sonnet number 18, which I'm sure you're familiar with. You'll recognize when I'm just going to do the first quatrain. We're not going to do the whole thing. But anyway, the technique we're going to be working on, or we're going to be using today, is something that I refer to as moving the one. Okay, and another way to say what that means basically is changing where you start your verse. Okay, so you can have a very basic flow. You can have a Dr. Seuss kind of a flow, and just by moving where you come in, where you punch in on a given line, you can add some nice variation to your flow. It's one tool that you can have in your toolbox among many others that we'll discuss along the way. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I got some drums here. You can hear those okay, I hope. I got a metronome, which I'm going to turn on. There's the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Okay, so that was very basic. That was coming in with the first I am, the shall I, thou art, on the 1, on the first, on the downbeat on the 1. Okay, now that gets a little bit boring, and of course we can also vary things up, and just to make this not such a terrible boring flow, instead of saying shall I compare thee to a summer's day, I'm going to change that up a little bit. Let's do it like this instead. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Okay, so that's our basic cadence. Okay, so let's move that. Let's move the 1. Let's do what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to do the first one on the 1, and on the second line, I'm going to move it back a beat or a half a beat. I'm not sure exactly. I just do it by feel. But the main point is you move it past. You wait a beat. Okay, so here we go. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Okay, so if we do the whole thing back and forth like that. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Okay, I fumbled my words a tiny bit there because I didn't really practice this, but you get the idea. Okay, another way to do that is instead of moving it this way past the 1, you can move it the other direction past the 1. So instead of shall I compare thee to the I on the 1, you can have the compare on the 1. So it could be like this. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Okay, now if we mix those together, we can have Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temper, rip rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease has all too short a day. Okay, now all we've done is move where we came in with the same basic cadence, the same basic line, and we've got sort of an interesting flow there now. I don't need to give you a bunch of examples. Hopefully I explained it well enough and you get the basic idea. To sum it up, you move where you start. You, instead of doing the basic thing that comes into your head, you say, you know what, I'm going to add a rest. Or you know what, instead of starting there, I'm going to start earlier and I'm going to try to make it work. Okay? Sometimes you'll end up with extra space. You might want to write a little more. You might want to add some words. You might want to just repeat something. We'll talk about some of those techniques in coming videos. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope this rap theory idea is something that people will tune into. If so, I'll make a bunch of these and I'll share my journey with y'all because let's be honest, or maybe y'all don't know if you're new to me. I'm fairly new to rap. I've been rapping for about a year, but I've been studying a lot. I've been working hard. I've been trying to work smart, and I've been talking to a lot of smart people and getting a lot of pointers and a lot of technique, and I want to share that information with y'all. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully if you're a beginning rapper, you can move the one around. You can figure out how to start your verses or start your lines in different places and turn a very basic flow into something a little bit more interesting. All right, Bluebeard out. Hope y'all having a great day, night, afternoon, whatever. Peace.